So she's like going on, she's getting like really a snotty attitude. And so like a good 10 minutes into it, I just like start like crying, and like I couldn't help it. Like I just start like weeping, like tears are like running down my face. And she's like, why are you so upset? What? Why am I so upset? Because I just gave you $15,000. Hi everybody, it's Tuesday and we are on our way to our IVF clinic to get some answers and to have our FDA physical, which again, we don't know why we're having the FDA physical. Well, like what the doctor said was just because we're donors, so we have to have it on paper that we're okay, like not crazy, but thought we already did that. So we're going again today, and I told him, I was like, that's fine, we can do it, but you're gonna have to bill our insurance because I'm not paying anymore for this. So thankfully they're gonna bill our insurance and we won't have to pay for it. So, and then we also have, I brought a whole list of questions. Since they don't return our phone calls and they don't talk to us very much, I very much plan on getting all my questions answered today and refuse to leave until they give us all of the answers to our questions. So, Rodney's here too. He has to get a physical as well, so. Alright. This is East, boo. This is East. No, you're going the right way. Alright, so we'll see you in there. Yeah, this is East. Getting an exam now. Okay guys, so we're back from the doctor. We had our exam, which I had a physical exam, like internal exam, all the works of an exam that a woman gets. My husband sat in the office and went through a questionnaire. Yes. So that whole like process, like I waited, my appointment was at 12:30. So I waited in the waiting room until 1:15, maybe 1:30. They came to get me, and then I was not seen for another 45 minutes after that. So they took me back into the room. First, I had to dispute that I had already had the FDA testing done, blood work, because when you freeze your embryos and you're using a surrogate, you have to make sure that you don't have any diseases. We did that in February. So I had to argue with the nurse that we had already done that, and the doctor came by, thank God, and was like, no, they already did that, you don't need to do that. That was the first battle of the day. Then they take me back into the room to have the physical done, and the nurse was like, okay, just take all your clothes off, like everything off. Take everything off, and then I'll be back here in 2 minutes. So I did that. And let's just say, for like argument's sake, that it took me like 10 minutes to take my clothes off. 10 minutes to take my clothes off. I go in there, they give you like the little gown where it's like open to the front, and then you put the little thing over your lap. I sat there. My phone was on like 20%, so it was about to die. And like, I just waited and I waited. I vlogged for a second. I like checked my son's GPS bus schedule. I like did everything. Like a good 45 minutes later, the doctor finally came in and he was like, I'm so sorry, I forgot about you. You forgot about me? I'm in here butt naked and you forgot about me. Duly noted, my friend. Duly noted. So then he like does the exam or whatever, and then I was like, well, I have a lot of questions for you. So he's like, okay, get dressed, I'll come back in and answer all your questions. So he comes back in and we go over like transfer and blah blah blah, everything that's gonna take place. But I'm tired of talking about it. Literally, I'm just sick to death of talking about it. And then I go to check out, and Rodney's still like in the consult room with the urologist, which again, mind blown as to why my husband needs to see a urologist like 10 months after going through IVF. Does that make any sense? Bear with me, you guys. This has like been a very emotional day. So I walk up to the front to check out, and the lady that's there that usually checks me out, she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to lunch now. So I said, okay, well, I need to talk to the office manager anyway, so that's fine. So I remember when I first started IVF, I was told by the office manager that, you know, like, we'll give you the money back since we paid for it all at once. We'll give you the money back for the monitoring since your surrogate isn't going to be monitored here. So I was like, fine, perfect, great. So I bought the all-inclusive package of IVF. Like, for me, like an all-inclusive, and what was said on the paperwork was like everything that was inclusive of the embryo, or like the egg extraction, making the embryos, freezing the embryos, yada yada yada, and then also an embryo transfer. So I was like, okay, so we have an embryo transfer here, but there was like $1,200 for the monitoring fees, and then another $800 for physician management fees. So I was like, well, the whole transfer was like $3,500, $4,500, I can't remember. And I was like, so since I'm not utilizing any of the monitoring, like I'm gonna need to have like, either you guys are gonna have to pay for the outside monitoring, or like you can give me the money back, like whatever. And she's like, oh no, that's not how it works. She's like, you owe us another $2,500 because you haven't paid for an embryo transfer. Even though on my inclusive package of IVF says embryo transfer. And so I pointed that out to her, and she was like, no, that is if we were gonna transfer it to you, not if you're gonna transfer it to somebody else. And blah 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 blah, like all this transfer needs to be used within like a week or whatever of egg retrieval. And I was like, well, it clearly doesn't say that on here, does it? It clearly doesn't say this on here. It says embryo transfer. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything else. So she's like going on, she's getting like really a snotty attitude. And so like a good 10 minutes into it, I just like start like crying, and like I couldn't help it. Like I just start like weeping, like tears are like running down my face. And she's like, why are you so upset? What? Why am I so upset? Because I just gave you $15,000 and now you're telling me that I need to pay you $3,500 more. That's why. And it's like, she's like, I hate these people that are in the infertility like business, because it is a business, and a bunch of these infertility doctors are scammers. I hate to say it, but they are. And they're preying on the weak, and they just like this is the second or third time I've told you guys like that I've had an insensitive comment about being infertile or not being able to have your own baby. And it's like, I don't see how these people work in this industry and have such a coldness about them, about infertility and surrogacy and what may come with it. Like, I don't understand how you still have a job, you know? Like, I think I've told you guys like a couple months ago, like the nurse was like, when asking about like the psych evaluation, like why did me and my husband need to have a psych evaluation, because they're our babies. And the nurse informed me, she was like, because you can't carry your own babies. Verbatim, exactly what she said to me. And today, I mean, I've had a couple comments like that before from their office, but I just feel like it's just gotten worse and worse. And so anyways, back to the story. So I started crying and like was pointing all this stuff out to her. And then I was like, I just want to talk to my husband. I just want to talk to my husband. Let me talk to my husband, and then I'll come back in here and talk to you. So Rodney was in the room like right across from me, and I went in there and he was just consulting with the urologist. So whatever. I walked in and was like crying. My doctor came in there just to like show him like paperwork, like completely oblivious that I was even crying for the first like 5 minutes he was even in there. And then he looks over at me and he was like, why are you so upset? Why are you crying? And he like shuts the door. And I'm like, because, and I told him the whole situation, like, because like I was told like this was an inclusive package, and now you're telling me I owe you $3,500 more. And he was like, oh, he seemed concerned for a second. He was like, oh yeah, oh well, I don't have anything to do with that. I don't have anything to do with that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is your practice. Like, this is your practice. If your employee made the mistake, that's on you. You should have to eat the cost of that. If you didn't specify when an embryo transfer or when the embryo transfer needed to take place, blah, 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 that's on you. That's on you. That's not on me. I did everything that I was supposed to do. When we came into IVF, I asked you very specifically, I want the final price for everything. Everything. They gave me the price, I paid it. And then my husband and I went back in there and talked to the office manager after the doctor was like, I don't know, I can't do anything about this. So we went back in there and talked to the office manager again, in which then she told Rodney, and Rodney was like, no, that's not, like, we paid for an inclusive package, like, that's not right. And again, she very stone-faced was like, well, that's what it is. And, you know, Rodney was trying to be polite to her, and she was like, Rodney was like, I know that you know where I'm coming from, like very politely, not like rude or anything. And she just sat there like stone faced, like nothing. And yeah, she just sat there, and I just can't, like, I still, like, I was crying up until like 30 minutes ago before I made dinner. And I can't believe that there's people out there like this. And I have like Rodney and I talked about it all the way home. Like, we have a sneaking suspicion that they leave those so vague that they can like trap people in there. And so they're like, oh, well, I already paid all my, like, a lot of my money to these people, and I have my embryos. Like, now I'm just gonna have to come up with $3,500 more because they pretty much got me by the cojones. And I'm just like, I feel defeated today, and I think Ronnie feels defeated today, and it's just exhausting. I had a headache, and it was just really emotional. Like, even if I like continue to talk about it, I'll probably get upset. So a couple of months ago, when we were talking to the lawyer in Idaho, she suggested, she's like, well, why don't you just transfer the embryos up here, and it will be like a faster process. Your sister-in-law won't have to come down there, blah, 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 blah. So about an hour ago, I called one of the clinics in Idaho, and they're just like an affiliate of like another clinic in Utah. And they said, yeah, our transfer is like $2,900. And then just to send them there, like, this is not part of the transfer, but for us to hire a company that does embryo transports is like $700 or $800. So it's like, it doesn't make sense, right? So I called another clinic in Idaho, and they were very sweet, but the financial lady wasn't there today, or she had left or whatever. And so I left a message on her voicemail, and it's like, you know, told her the situation, that we already have embryos that are tested, yada, yada, yada. We just don't like our IVF clinic here. Ronnie and I don't trust them. So I just kind of asked for information and for her to call me back. So we'll see. Like, crossing our fingers that it's not as astronomically expensive. Like, if we have to pay $3,500, I would rather go somewhere else. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but I would rather go somewhere else because I've really had just bad feelings about my clinic for a while. I've not gotten good service. They're not empathetic. The wait time is crazy. Like, I sat in the waiting room for an hour and a half when there was nobody in the waiting room. So yeah, I don't know, we'll just see what comes of it. But as of today, I was not expecting this, you guys. I was not expecting to leave there like bawling, crying, and messing up my makeup. I expected to get a transfer date. I expected to hear that my sister-in-law was approved, which, mind you, they still haven't gotten lab work slips that my sister-in-law's clinic said that they've already sent over. So it's just like a lot of like balls have been dropped, and it's like one of those relationships where you just don't know like if you can move forward. You know, it's kind of like if your spouse like cheated on you or like lied to you multiple times, like you just don't know like if you can ever trust them again, if you can ever move forward and feel good about it, you know. So I need this being like a huge decision in our lives. We need to feel 100% about this process, and right now I don't feel 100%, you know. I feel like they scammed us, and that maybe they're scamming other people, and maybe they have before, and yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I just have this gut feeling that like they're not the right clinic for us. And I've thought this for a while now. This isn't just today, but I've thought about it, and you know, like your gut feeling is like usually what's right, and I'm not sure where to go or what to do with it, but I just feel like it's not right with them. So we'll see what the future holds, you guys. You could use your prayers right now and just kind of helping us, you know, see what where the road's gonna lead us and everything like that. You know, my husband on the way home today, he was so frustrated. He was like, I don't know, maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe we're just not meant to be, you know, parents to, you know, another child. Maybe like 2 is just all we're supposed to have. And I just can't help but think like he's wrong, because why would God give us these embryos? You know, like if God didn't want us to have another baby, then wouldn't IVF just not have worked at all? I don't know. I think that's what keeps me like pushing forward, is that I know like in some way like this has to work, otherwise we wouldn't have gotten any embryos. And before I went into retrieval, I don't know if I told you guys this, but I literally was like praying the whole time, even up to this. I was like, please, like if you do not want us to have any more kids, please, like don't let us get any eggs. And if we do get eggs, like don't let them fertilize, like don't let them make it to PGS testing, whatever it is. Like show me like that it's not going to work for us. And guess what? He gave us 5 out of 7. He gave us 5 embryos, in which 3 were absolutely normal. So I can't help but think like that was a true blessing for us. God is blessing us, and it's a rough road right now, but we just have to push through, and like hopefully we'll persevere and we'll have our baby. You know, I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know all these things, but I don't know. I hope that it all works out. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling because I'm tired, mentally, physically exhausted. And I'm gonna go get in the bath and maybe watch some reality TV tonight. Just hang out, just try to calm my body so I don't get so like super stressed out. Anyways, sorry this was like kind of a long vlog, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all your support. All your comments and likes are definitely appreciated. It lets me know like there's people out there that truly care and are watching. So yeah, thank you again, and I will see you guys later. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe below. Bye.